there yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as...
Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the ball is going to take him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shakuras Plateau, the preferred holiday destination for any Terran versus Terran couple.
Indeed. They love this location. And Drewbie loves it probably more, I think, because this kind of map, there's so many drop locations and so on. He's so famous for doing that he can really harass Tarson a lot. And will he be able to do it in the second game? Will he be able to go 2-0? And I think going 2-0 will give him such confidence going into the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, Tarson is a tough opponent. He's not all that well known in some places, but this is an interesting version of this map, actually. We've actually got the back rocks on this one.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're playing on this version. There's so many different versions of this map. There's like 8 different versions of every map. So this is the one with the rocks, though. And he will be able to have an easy expansion behind those rocks, a kind of a defensive expansion. And if you are going to be an aggressive player, you always want to be defending to a safer location.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do, and it allows you to pile on the pressure on your opponent. And there's all sorts of possibilities right here with drops and, of course, harassment through the back. That back door extremely vulnerable. As you said before, some maps don't have that, and I think the prevailing map at the moment does not have those back rocks. Obviously, this IGN version, which is a special cloaked version, that actually does. So these guys will, of course, have known that before they started, so this will have come as no surprise at all. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how they manage to adapt to that. It's always interesting to sometimes see variety in the maps, because you do see changes in strategy based around that.
Yeah, indeed. And it looks like we are going to see Tarson go for a very early refinery, pretty much standard, just like the previous game. And we are seeing Drewbie repeating his first game too in this series, going for no refineries at all. And I think that the follow-up from Drewbie in the second game, the kind of mental game he'd be playing, is just probably go ahead and expand rather safely from here and go for a 1-rack CC rather than 1 racks into like 3 extra ones.
Yeah, that would make sense, honestly. I think we're probably in for a longer game on this one, and Tarson will, of course, I would imagine, play significantly more defensively than he managed to do last time, and obviously try and take map control, more to the point. Smart move right there by Tarson with the placement of the supply depot, giving him a little bit of warning for the back rocks. That reminds me of some wonderful Bronze League matches on blistering sands.
Back in the day.
Oh, yes.
And, oops, the SCV of Tarson goes straight in, and Drewbie missed microing a little bit. Could have killed off that SCV. And Tarson does come in, sees no refineries once again. And it looks like he can even see the SCV being pulled down to make the command center, so he's going to have full control about this. Useful
information, certainly, for Tarson to actually have right there. The factory being placed in the corner, nice and out of the way, make it a little bit harder to scout. Drewbie, as it happens, is following up on what Tarson did last game, which is not to scout at all. He doesn't really care for the time being. He feels secure. I don't really blame him. If he's confident in what his opponent is actually going for, then he doesn't need to scout that early.
Yeah, indeed. And he's going to build a bunker anyway, though, Tarson, just in case. This still could have been a fake out if he hadn't built the command center and built a few Marines, a few more barracks into Marines. And it looks like Drewbie is going to follow up with double barracks. Actually going to go 4 barracks once again after the command center, though, this time. So we'll have to see how this will proceed from here.
Still taking no gas. It's interesting that he's going to try the same trick twice. And, of course, Tarson is way more prepared for it this time.
Yeah, indeed. And Tarson has got double refineries once again. It looks like he's pretty much going for the same build once again for that Banshee. And I'm wondering if he'll go for the Raven, because you usually get the Raven and anticipation for some kind of Banshee play from the other guy. But I doubt that's going to be the case this time, as he knows what Drewbie's up to and how Drewbie plays.
That would be very unusual to see Drewbie go for that early Banshee aggression. It really is not his style at all. So the choice of the Raven would be a little odd, I've got to say. We'll see what happens, though. It's obviously going to be a Banshee opening here. And if he builds a Raven, we're going to look very, very silly. But there you go. There's the Banshee. And I have to wonder if he'll decide to take the cloak this time.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he does, where he was gas spent. He's up to 200 gas.
There we go. Takes the cloak, and this could be interesting. Now, Drewbie is not all that well prepared for Banshee with cloak at all. Obviously, he has the 2 orbital commands, which will help an awful lot, but he has no sign of an engineering bay.
Yeah, well, if we're thinking about the last game, how Drewbie played, because normally I don't really watch Drewbie that much, being on the North American server and myself being from Europe, but the last game he actually got the engineering bay quite fast. So we'll have to see if he does it at the time. And a nice scan, and it looks like he kind of knows that Banshees are coming simply because he scanned no tech labs, and he also sees double gas from the refinery, so he must think something. All right, where's your gas? It has to be in Starport, it has to be Banshees. And immediate reaction from Drewbie, gets down that engineering bay immediately.
Smart play, certainly. And it's more about, it's not what he saw, it's what he didn't see that really helped him out there. Simply because, as you said, this actually will happen in ladder games an awful lot. No matter, maybe a sort of Gold League onwards, people will start to realize, well, I see a factory with no add-ons and a barracks with no add-ons. Now, at this stage of the game, that would indicate that you've probably got something else that's taking up all that gas.
And in comes the Banshee on the natural of Drewbie, kills a few Marines. And we'll back off after a few more hits there. But Cloak is just about to be done. And needs to try and stop that turret. That would be really good.
He really needs to bring that down right now. And Drewbie with a good interception right there, preventing it. And that's going to shut the Banshee harassment down on the natural quite badly. I have to say, though, he has forced 4 missile turrets from Drewbie. Actually, 5, I think, in total. So that's a very significant investment early on. And a smart play by Tarson. He's not actually following it up with anything else. He's got 2 Banshees, and that's it. Yeah,
I mean, he's got map control, too, now, because Drewbie can't move out at all until he gets a lot more units here, and he can start to pick off units and supply depots. Anything loose around the map can easily get picked off by these Banshees. So really nice opening from Tarson. Behind it, he's just going to go ahead and expand. So solid opening.
Smart play. Very, very smart. Overcommitting, I think, to that strategy would have been absolute folly. And Drewbie really did go massive overkill, I think, on the amount of missile turrets he had. A Banshee, regardless of the number of missile turrets, managed to slip into the base. Picks off a Marine for free. He can actually delay the building of the factory, which is pretty awesome. That's not bad at all from Tarson. He's doing incredibly well here.
Indeed, he stops, as you said, the factory production. He's got to be careful, though. Does lose the Banshee,
ouch,
but did pick off a few SCVs. Stop the factory production, which means the tech lab's going to be late on that. It means the siege mode's going to be late, the siege tanks are going to be late, and we'll give Tarson, you know, 1 or 2 siege tank advantage.
And that can be crucial in a TVT ground war when you're dealing purely with tanks. It really does come down to 2 things, numbers and positioning. And Tarson is great at both. If you've seen any of Tarson's legendary holds, then you know exactly how good he is with the positioning and picking the place to fight on the map.
Though I don't really think that Tarson's done enough damage to warrant these Banshees being made. If we look at the unit tab, we have 43 SCVs now versus 32. Which is a big lead already. For this stage of the game, we're only at like pre-10 minutes. So that's a big lead already. He's got to be careful not to lose this Banshee either.
Down it goes. Yeah, and that is unfortunate there. Tarson missmicroing as far as I'm concerned. A nice catch there by Drewbie. And you are actually right there. And even with the amount of missile turrets that were forced, he's still got such an SCV advantage that building those 2 Banshees, it's debatable, really. No doubt there'll be theory crafting on the forums after this about this, but it's very difficult to tell whether or not it's worthwhile. We've got an armory on the way up for Drewbie as well, which is interesting considering that he's only just started +1 infantry weapon.
Yeah. And I think Tarson needs to push soon before the medivacs come out and before Drewbie can get into that comfort zone of the Drewbie drops going all across the map. And yeah, we are going to see Tarson push out now. Just as Stim is about finished, he is going to go a little bit earlier because of the timing of these medivacs. And there is going to be a small encounter in the middle of the map, though, but Siege Tank's definitely going to edge that fight.
Yeah, I don't really think that Drewbie's going to have much of a chance there, and he doesn't seem to believe that either. I hardly blame him. We've got Tarson rolling forward, SCV support as well. That is a force that right now Drewbie is incapable of standing up to outside of his own base.
Yeah, he could very well get contained here. He has no Vikings, no tanks, nothing, only Marines. And he's pulling a lot of SCVs to help deal with this.
Yeah, he really is going for that one. And, of course, he'll absorb most of the early tank shelling on those SCVs. Looks to try and clean them up. He's doing a good job of doing so. He grabs 1, he grabs 2. He looks for another. His force is starting to peter out, but it looks like he may be able to push this one back. Nice play there by Drewbie. And, of course, sacrificing a lot of SCVs, but he did have the lead in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, the economy's been equalized now. And that was really good fight for Tarson. Killed so many SCVs, and that's the problem with this kind of style that Drewbie gets out. Before you get medivacs, before you can start harassing, you're going to take a lot of hits from early tank pushes like that. And that's really great for Tarson. And now he's back in the game. He's getting his 3rd base up and running, and soon we'll be able to take the lead in the economy for the first time this game.
In the meantime, however, You know it, folks. This is his trademark style. The drops are finally coming in here from Drewbie. We've got a force of 12 Marines rolling out right now, and it's actually a bit of a timing drop because he's going to time this with +1 and possibly +1 again on the armor as well. So this is going to be quite dangerous. Tarson has not got that at all. In fact, I think he's only just started his engineering bay. An interception moving, and Tarson with a patrolling Viking. However, a cleanup should be pretty damn viable right here. There's the stim. Down goes the Viking. The Medivacs stay up, and here's big damage coming in right now from Drewbie. Charging towards that economic line. Wants the devastated, and he's doing a good job of doing just that. Slicing his way through there with that +1 weapons upgrade. And while no doubt Tarson will be able to clean this up eventually, the losses are significant, and of course he has denied mining. And Tarson now sitting on 44 SCVs to 55 in favor of Drewbie.
I didn't like that play by Tarson at all because he's got control of the Zelnogga Tower in the middle of the map. You know if units are going to come from the middle, so why do you have units on the natural? You should always have patrol units in the back of your base expecting, especially because you know Drewbie's style. He's going to be trying to drop you as much as possible. And once again, Drewbie has edged it into his favor. 110 food versus 96. A drop possible on the left-hand side here for Tarson. And that was meant to kind of counter a third base, but the third base is not there. It is in the east location from the main base of Drewbie.
Yep, Drewbie actually gets one of his full medivacs shot down, which certainly is not what he was looking for at all. But for the moment, he is fairly safe. He doesn't really have to concern himself with anything that's going on. And securing that third right there without too much of a problem. And also Drewbie with a large force of Marines in the middle. And these are heavily upgraded already. He's already well on his way for level 2 infantry weapon. He's got level 2 armor coming in as well. Obviously great to get these upgrades in a Marine tank fight for obvious reasons. Even if you can get +1 upgrade on your armor for infantry versus your opponent's Marines, you gain such an advantage.
Yeah, and Tarson's upgrades are really bad. 0-0 on the Marines and 0-0 on the tanks too. He's really falling behind in that. +1 weapons for infantry is about to finish, but then Drewbie's +2 is about to finish as well, so it kind of nullifies that. And Drewbie's Marine spread is excellent. That's how he actually won that first engagement in the middle of the map. Obviously SCV's helping, but the Marine spread really, really important.
Yes, indeed. Tarson rolling out right now. He does have a very significant siege tank advantage. However, Drewbie is sitting on 61 Marines, and by the time these hit, it's going to be at least +2 on the weapon, if not the armor. An initial inconclusive engagement right there as the Vikings try to shell those medevacs. There come the tank shells, and honestly, he's going to be very, very careful here.
And Drewbie's supply blocked badly at the moment, but he will be able to reinforce units as these die. Late stim, really bad control by Drewbie. And not good at all. Tarson edging forward, 134 supply versus 122 now.
Drewbie's going to be very, very patient here. He needs to look for the right kind of time to go in. He did throw away a good number of Marines, at least 15 in that initial engagement. Tarson didn't lose too much at all. This is an intriguing idea. If he's able to break through this, he might be able to flank his opponent. However, there's the scan, and he sees what's going on. There's the drop in the bottom of the base right there, as you can see, from Tarson. However, we've got the initial engagement, as Drewbie's actually forced backwards in order to deal with this damaging drop.
And Tarson's taking the SCV lead now, especially after these drops. But a Marine is going to deny that third base going down for Tarson there. Drewbie with a great position. But Tarson is slowly edging forward to this base. And it's going to force off a liftoff from Drewbie. And he's going to have to retreat with this command center and try and place it in the left-hand side location. Really nice play from Tarson.
That's not ideal for Drewbie at all. And now the SCV lead is actually in favor of Tarson once again. Big fire coming on that orbital command. However, without the upgrades, he's not going to be able to do too much to it. And he continues to push forward, looks for it. And in the meantime, he's actually been flanked. Drewbie is moving forward as rapidly as possible. And we could be entering a base trade scenario right here that, as far as I'm concerned, is in favor of Drewbie.
Indeed, 2-2 Marines are going to cut down 2 tanks very easily. SCVs have been pulled off here to deal with this. And a large engagement by both players.
Yep, this is messy. We're going to have to try and cover both as we go. And Drewbie needs to bring down those tanks immediately. If he can cut through them, then that could force a good game right there. There he goes. He's through the tanks, and most of the Marines continue to be alive. Tarson is actually retreating right now, which is probably not what he wanted to do. And if he tries to go across the entire map right here, Drewbie is going to slice him in half. His tech is going to be devastated, which is exactly what's happening. Production facilities falling rapidly as Tarson with indecision. He's actually split his force in 2 right now.
And 4 siege tanks on the high ground for Drewbie. There is no way that Tarson can break through. And it looks like Drewbie with an excellent counterattack turns this game around.
Yeah, there's not an awful lot that Tarson can really do here. That indecision has really cost him. That lack of mobility has really cost him. And Drewbie's Marine Force with 2-2 upgrades slices its way through the production facilities of Tarson as the units start to stream back. But by the time they get there, it's not going to matter. SCVs, tanks, Drewbie is throwing it all in right now, and I hardly blame him. He has the advantage. He can clean this up very, very nicely, and I would be very surprised if Tarson can hold this.
I mean, Tarson's got to do something incredible to hold this. He is pulling on units back. It looks like he will clean out his main base, but to what end? Total Biscuit, he's lost all his production. He's now at 70 supply versus 100 supply, and not looking good. The upgrades now 1-1 for Tarson, though these 2-2 Marines, as you said, a lot of damage.
No question. Tarson with a very small drop up until the 4th base of Drewbie, but it's very easily cleaned up. He's not too worried about that one at all. He's got a very defensive siege tank line right here that is covering his 3rd base and his natural expansion. That's going to be difficult to get around unless, of course, you happen to be Drewbie with your drops.
And Drewbie's money's been so high all game, actually. I've been looking at it. It's been around 1,000 all game. Getting supply blocked a lot, and I'm not sure if that's nerves or if he's not been playing too much recently. But it's really cutting into it. He's definitely going to have to shape up as the tournament progresses. But now we do have a drop from Tarson. And he will be coming down to this expansion. Be able to get a lot of SCV kills here.
Oh yeah, he's looking to get back into the fight, and he's going to have to work pretty hard to make that happen, because Tarson's currently on 11 SCVs, which I would class as suboptimal.
I think it's definitely suboptimal.
I would class that as understatement of the century. Yeah. But that said, he absolutely gutted Drewbie's SCV count right there. Now, he even is going to take the CC out as well, but Drewbie charging in, of course, with those upgrade advantages. There's no way that Tarson can hold against that one, and he's gunned down with ruthless vengeance.
So now we have basically only 8 siege tanks left for Tarson now, it looks like. And these Marines are going to be the big difference, though, because they will be able to tank and soak up a lot of the tank fire while Drewbie's tanks get into position. And it looks like Drewbie is going to go for the kill soon. It has the Viking lead too, so he's going to have the spotting vision as well. And not looking too good for Tarson now. And in comes Drewbie for the final kill.
Yeah, Tarson's complete lack of air superiority is going to hurt him so badly here. I cannot overestimate and indeed overstate just how ridiculous this is going to be. It is absolutely absurd. The Viking range is going to matter an awful lot. He's going to force a lot of scans from Tarson in order to try and return fire, which is not going to work out all that well. He charges in, he takes the initial volley on that first tank. He's got good spread right here. If he's able to break this tank line, that is going to be it. There's no question. There's the charge. He loses a lot of Marines, but it's okay. He can handle that. In the meantime, a drop is coming for Tarson, but honestly, I don't know what he expects to do, because he's going to end up losing this base right here. That's going to be an easy cleanup, and Tarson is going to be forced to do nothing but mine from his natural, which is not looking great at the best of times. More harassment right here, and Tarson might even actually take this base away from Drewbie. There's no real push right there. He throws in his SCVs in order to try and clean that one up. All to command on 300 and falling rapidly, but it looks like Drewbie's going to be able to clean it up with the SCVs alone, heroically standing against that. That overload command holds! Nicely done there by Drewbie, and here comes what could be the final charge once again. Tarson trying to hold this line with 3 siege tanks, but with so much firepower, so much mobile firepower available, those tanks will not hold against that kind of shelling. Drewbie pushing his way in. GG!
That's it.
There we go, folks. GG, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a 2-0 win for the one and only Drewbie.
And that's surprising for me. I would have not come into this game and said, all right, Drewbie 2-0. Maybe because I'm slightly biased, because I don't really know Drewbie that well. I haven't really casted any games before, never played against him. So maybe that was bad of me to do so. And I would have thought Tarson would have taken that game 2-0, but proven wrong.
There you go, folks. Always nice to be proven wrong in that regard, I think. Always nice to see a surprising and trademark bit of aggression there from Drewbie, and he is still competitive, folks. He can duke it out with the best of them. Good play there by Drewbie. Congratulations, 2-0 in his best of 3 series. You're watching the IGN Pro League Season 2. My name is Total Biscuits.
Joined by D Apollo.
Yes, and we will no doubt see you shortly for yet more StarCraft action.